Check this.
Hello, this is Socially Triggered, and this video is going to be about hate speech and hate speech laws. In the US, they actually have pretty good protection in terms of speech. You can actually pretty much say what you want. There's always caveats, but you can pretty much say whatever you want. There's freedom of speech. In Canada, we don't have those same rules. We have freedom of expression, but then there's a caveat to that, which is called hate speech. And hate speech laws can prevent people saying things that might offend other people. Now, one of the things that I asked my wife, and this is kind of what triggered the whole argument, was what does she think about racial slurs? Should racial slurs be allowed? And she said no. And I said, well, how about the situation where somebody stabs you? Somebody stabs you and that's a crime. It's an identifiable crime. That's assault. You know what the crime is. Now, there's hate crimes where if that person is black that was stabbed and they were stabbed by a white person and the white person is racist based on that situation, that would be considered a hate crime because the motive that's assumed is that it's a racially motivated crime. Now, to me, what is happening there is that the motives of the person are being decided for them. And rather than looking at what the crime really is, the crime is a stabbing. Well, the same applies to hate speech. That when we use slurs or comments or bad words, we often don't use them in the way that people think. When we have arguments with people, and I've seen arguments online where you see these funny things where a whole bunch of racial slurs will be thrown. And then afterwards, they'll ask the person, are you racist? You know, you said so many bad things. You said so many N-bombs and all this stuff. And they say, no, I'm totally not racist. But what you just said. But the point is, what people do is when they argue, when they get into that fight, that heated battle of words, they will go into the racial slurs. Why? Why do they do that? Because the goal is to insult that person. And the easiest ways to insult people is to find something that is really offensive to them. So if that person is tall and you call them something like giant man or something that makes fun of some characteristic about that person. If they're black, then you call them the N-word. And that way you're insulting them. You're trying to be offensive to them. Because your goal when you're fighting, when you're arguing, is to really hurt that other person. Attack their character. And it's not that necessarily you're trying to insult the whole race or go that extreme. It's really that you're trying to attack that one individual. And people don't understand that. So when people hear these things online, they say, oh, that person's super racist. But it might not be the case. They might be just really hate that one person. And they make those comments not because they're racist, but because they really don't like that one person. And this is why I don't like hate speech laws. Because hate speech can be misinterpreted in that way, where they don't understand the real motivations behind why people say the things that they do. And this is why when you go down that slippery slope of limiting free speech by saying there's hate speech, then you're getting into the concept of knowing what people really mean, or saying that, well, they can understand what they're thinking. And the point is, you can't read people's minds. You can't know their motivations. So let's look at speech as being something that's free and just allow it to be free. People can say bad things, but we have to be strong enough as people to know that when somebody says something that's truly bad, that we just brush it off. We ignore it. We see it for what it is. It's an insult. Sure. It may be horrible, but it's just that. I've been insulted in my life. I'm strong enough to accept those things. I mean, if you have any YouTube channel, you know how everybody's been insulted pretty much online, and you get used to that. I mean, I'll get hate comments just from this video that I'm posting out now. But you have to move on. It is what it is. You can't just let these comments or insults hurt you. And we have to be tougher, where we can be able to move on and understand things for what they are, meaningless. We only give them strength. We only give words strength when they actually hurt us. And if we do that, we're actually letting the people that are trying to hurt us win. I don't like letting people win. I want to be the winner. And I want you to be the winner too. So believe with me in freedom of speech. Let people say whatever they want. And be strong enough to understand that some of those things might offend you, but you're stronger than that. So I hope you enjoyed this video. This has been Socially Triggered. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And hopefully you'll watch more of my videos. Thanks. Bye.
Check this.